now we'll open this meeting to the public to make your comments in regards to this ordinance. Again, I ask you to introduce yourself, your name and address, and you will be given 3 minutes to present your
My name is Mark Wyatt. I'm Executive Director for the Iowa Bicycle Coalition. My address is 230 North Front Street in North Liberty, Iowa. I just have a few questions. I'm going to keep it brief because I know you have a lot of people that want to talk about this. The first question is, as Jim mentioned, that Iowa Code says that the bicycles have the same rights and responsibilities as vehicles do. Are we creating a conflict there? If the WMT tractor cade, if Motor Iowa, if a funeral procession doesn't have to get the same amount of insurance, why just bikes? Is there a conflict that we're creating? In addition, to back that up, the Urban Transport Monitor says there's 88 lawsuits per state per year for vehicles. Very few for bicycles across the country. Something like 85 of those are directed towards the state. Very few are directed towards municipalities. So if we need to address the liability issue, I think we need to take a look at the bigger picture, because there's something a little more than bicycles that may be worrying. And will the additional insured, and I think that we started to broach upon that, will the additional insured certificates actually protect from the county's negligence? My understanding of insurance is that me as a ride organizer would take out insurance that would protect the county from my negligence, and not necessarily even what happened in Crawford County would provide protection there. My statement that I want to make is that I think education is missing. I think that a lot of counties are fearful of the bicycle right now, and our litigious society as a whole. I think that there's more that we can do. I think there's more that ISAC can do. I think there's more that DOT can do, so we understand bicycle risk management and tort liability. The Iowa Bicycle Coalition has an Iowa Bicycle Summit every year in January, and we plan to add a bicycle risk management and tort liability workshop based upon the Federal Highway Administration's university course on that subject. So I certainly look forward to seeing if Jim can come to that, and I think a lot of things can be answered and understood, and I think education is the key. Thank you.
My name is Jeff Mertz, 535 Southeast Meadowlark Lane in Waukee, Iowa. So that I can get through as many points as I can, I have several questions. I'll just ask them as quickly as I can, and then hopefully we can go through them. What is the proposed number of riders, and how is that number agreed? How will that number be settled upon? Right now it's blank from the Iowa Association of Counties. One thing that concerns me is that ISAC would support 99 different counties having 99 different standards. Because it only takes one cyclist, one car, one bus, one motorcycle to have an accident, why are we setting a limit on 20, 50, 100 riders? Economics, Jim said it costs $15,000 to the county for repairs on the road for RAGBRAI. I would suggest you talk to the Chamber of Commerce, both of Adele, Waukee, Redfield, and what the impact was, and what kind of sales tax was raised for the schools, for the county, and I would also ask, did the residents of the county receive benefit from an improved road facility? Does a trail ride count as crossing? Since you cross county roads when you ride on a trail, does that count under this ordinance? I believe a good attorney would say it does. What agency or department will be responsible for accepting the permit? The ordinance says that the board of supervisors will be the ones doing all the work. So it says the board will respond within 24 hours. How will the board, without an official designation, be able to respond in 24 hours without posting a meeting, having a public hearing? I think there's some logistics in the ordinance that need to be corrected there. Will the sheriff be the one out on the roads patrolling and stopping the cyclists to make sure they have insurance? Will they be the ones writing the tickets, and will they have the and is that what they really need to be doing out on the road is stopping cyclists? When a route is submitted to the county, and the county then acknowledges the ride, are they actually accepting more liability by permitting the ride on a certain route? Will the county engineer have a chance to review in adequate time the route to make sure that route is safe? Thank you. I'm here as a Dallas County citizen, a former elected official who totally understands the county's and the elected officials and the responsibility of the taxpayers. As a resident, I pay taxes for roads in the county, the city, and the state, and the federal government, and I pay a fuel sales tax. So I believe I pay for my share of the roads. I would ask that you send this back to the Iowa Association of Counties, and I'll respect the time. Thank you. Hopefully those questions can get answered so that everybody can hear.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Goodman. I'm an attorney from Des Moines, avid bicyclist, and here to speak in opposition to the ordinance. I'm going to truncate my remarks and provide you with a letter that sets forth my legal analysis of the ordinance. But basically, I stand in opposition for a number of reasons. First of all, the ordinance calls for issuance of a comprehensive general liability policy on behalf of the individuals involved in the offense that is identified in the ordinance. And I talked to a local insurance agent in Des Moines who says that such a policy for 50 riders would cost $1,500 to $3,000 for an individual day's ride involving a casual event. Policies are different if it's say a road race, it's protected and that sort of thing, but that breaks down to a $30 to $60 per person charge. One of the things that strikes me as a little bit odd is the statement of the findings that county roads are not designed for bicyclists. In fact, as everyone's agreed this morning, the Iowa law recognizes bicyclists as having the same status and rights and obligations as those individuals that operate other motor vehicles, and that right of bicyclists has existed by statute since at least 1939, and prior to that was unregulated. So I think we can say that the rights of bicyclists has existed forever in the operation of the county highways and other roadways in the state of Iowa other than the interstate system. There is a vagueness in the ordinance that I think would be subject to challenge. The findings set out to address perhaps a different problem, which is a large organized bicycle event such as Ride Rider or the charitable organizations. I would also oppose any regulation of that unduly burdens those organizations, but then the legislation itself narrows to bicycle events, and it includes perhaps inadvertently spontaneous rides. I'll use that term as a shorthand, or regularly scheduled. Spontaneous rides would be where I send an email out to some friends and say, it's a beautiful day today, does anyone want to go for a ride? I send it to 3 friends, they send it to 3 friends, they send it to 3 friends, and so on and so forth, and pretty much we find ourselves unknowingly within the confines of the statute, no time to buy insurance, and we're either violating the law or hanging up our bikes. The other